So behind us is what could be my favorite quote of all, because it talks about what we're all here for, which is relationships. It's by Maya Angelou. It says, "People will forget what you said and what you did, but they will never forget how you make them feel." And we're on this earth together for a very short period of time. So happiness and satisfaction comes in large part from the relationships we have and what we do in those relationships. How can we implement those thoughts both in our lives and in the context of our careers?
With all due respect, what I'm saying is far more revolutionary than you be nice to me, I'll be nice to you business, because a whole lot of relationships start off with this intent, but most of the time they don't succeed. People who had the most pleasant early interactions could get into horrible states of conflict later on, all right? Individual people, groups of people, nations, all levels, it's happening. This is because I expect you to make me happy, you expect me to make you happy. This is always a time bomb. It'll tick for some time and it'll explode unless it just peters out. So, I'm telling you this, why should how I feel depend on you? Because how I feel is coming from within me. This must be determined by me, isn't it? Hello? The moment I think, I'm feeling miserable because of you, there's a conflict. Yes or no? So, it's very important that human beings have to mature into this possibility that you feel joyful, you feel miserable, you feel horrible or you feel wonderful, this is essentially your doing. Somebody else, what are they doing? What they know best, they're doing. What they know best may be a lousy option, but they're doing what they know best. Right now they're abusive because that's what they know. They don't know any better. But why should that determine how I am? If the moment there is this fear of how will I feel, maybe I will suffer, once there is fear of suffering, your entire life becomes half strides. It'll never be a full stride, because the fear of suffering cripples human beings. Right now, this is what has crippled humanity, the fear of suffering. What will happen to me is always a big issue. What will happen to me should be determined by me. What happens around me, of course everybody has a stake, but what happens within me, why is it that somebody else can decide this? Whether I am blissful or miserable must be determined entirely by me, because this is in my hands, because the experience is coming from within. Somebody can stimulate something or somebody can stimulate something positive or negative, but essentially whatever the input, what I make out of it is always me, isn't it? The moment you have fear of suffering, you will not do what you could do. In our lives, if we do not do what we cannot do, there's no problem. If we do not do what we can do, we are a disastrous life. And this will happen to us, and this has happened to us in a big way to humanity. A whole lot of human beings will not do what they can do simply because of the fear of suffering. What will happen? What will happen? This must go, and this will only go if you engineer your interiority in such a way that what happens within you is entirely decided by you. What happens around you, we will collaborate. What happens within me, there is no collaboration. This is dictatorship.
Guruji,